right, chapter 3 of the basic guide to exporting. So you're going to look into the markets that you want to export to. So once you identify countries that you want to export to, you're going to want to do some research and figure out how are they different from where I'm selling today. Could be a lot of things. You don't want to market bathing suits in a country where it's freezing cold 11 months out of the year. You don't want to, by the same token, you don't want to market something, again, like a bathing suit in a country that's very strictly religious from a cultural or societal standpoint and doesn't like it that women or men would walk around in, clothing that's not very modest. You want to make sure that if you're selling something, there's not a way that's already in that country where they have something that's better that already exists as a raw material in that country for less expensive. You want to make sure that you understand wage costs. If you're going to be manufacturing here and sending stuff there to another country, could they make it there because they have lower wage costs already without having to have an import from you? And you just want to think about, what do people have from a purchasing power? So if you've taken another course from me, you may have already heard this story, but in India, originally Procter & Gamble and Unilever started selling soap even smaller than the amount of soap, bar soap that you would get like in a hotel. So the very, very small pieces of soap. And the reason that they did that is they could do it less expensively. And what it turned out to be is that the purchasing power of an average family, they didn't have enough money to buy an entire bar of soap that might take them a month and a half to use, but they could buy a small piece of soap once a week and then it would be used up. But they just didn't have enough capital to be able to buy the entire thing all at once because they were very, very poor. So that purchasing power is very important to understand in how you package your product, etc. You also want to be sure about, once you understand the export controls from the United States, that you understand the import controls from the other country. So you want to do a little example of impact. So look at all of the factors that could control this and give yourself a little write-up and make sure that you're understanding each of these and how they're going to impact your export. So I gave you some examples here. Sorry about that. So the largest markets for your product and where the fastest growing markets will be an outcome of this prior slide. What kind of market trends there are, market conditions, all of this information can come from the U.S. Commercial Service. They're very willing to help you, and they have a lot of databases that can give you this information, and they help you create the beginning of your export plan. These are some of the questions that are answered by doing market research. So what countries are buying products similar to yours? Is your price point going to be appealing? How can I distribute it? What kind of taxes am I going to be responsible for paying, etc.? You're going to look at these export statistics, you're going to identify the markets, and then you're going to figure out from the long list of all the countries that are available that could be markets for your product, which countries are the most promising and have the highest likelihood of being good export partners. And then this is some places that you can get information. They can give you information. You can meet with them in person. If you're here in Houston, there's a U.S. Commercial Service office here. They can guide you, they can give you market research, they can give you information about trade shows, all kinds of things. This is a list of resources that you can use that will give you information based on what you're trying to get you from a research standpoint, what you're trying to get to. And then there's also lots of other research based by your industry. So let's say that you're going to sell some kind of motorcycle equipment, motorcycle aftermarket equipment. You'd want to know how many motorcycles have been sold into that country already, so you know what your market is, but you'd want to know by the industry what that is. So there's a lot of information out there by the industry and then by these other ways as well. So that's the end of chapter 3, and we will do chapter 4 next week in class live.